For many of us, August 2020 was not only significant as flight simmers with the launch of Microsoft Flight Simulator, but was also the start of a little-known website, Flightsim.to. Whilst you may not have been acquainted with it at that time, chances are you're pretty familiar with it today. Flightsim.to is, in the minds of flight simmers, the main depository for freeware. A more recent development, of course, being them offering new premium payware. And over the last 2.5 years, well, they've grown from strength to strength. Here are some fairly recent statistics: 49,000 add-ons, an incredible 47 million downloads, and over 560,000 registered users. But is all this about to change? From what I can gather, Flightsim.to is in dispute with some of its developers, resulting in some well-established names opting to leave the platform. This is clearly of concern to all of us, so just exactly what's going on? Welcome back to the SimHanger. My name's Mark. Thank you very much for watching, and let's get started. Well, as far as I understand it, all the problems seem to have started with the impending implementation of the creators program on Flightsim.to. But before going any further, a quick disclaimer. I don't have a background in legal affairs, and the purpose of this video is not to point the finger at Flightsim.to or any of the developers' creators, but simply to recount the events as best as I understand them, for the benefit of the community and for you to form your own opinion. Both the volume and activity levels on the Flightsim.to website are high. Combine this with the need to manage server resources so users get an acceptable download performance, and the long and the short of it is all this costs money. Up to this point, the management at the website have used advertising to cover expenses, in conjunction with a voluntary donation to the website to maintain activities. It would appear that this revenue stream is not adequate to fund current operations as well as plan for growth in the future. In my personal opinion, this is fully understandable, and they've decided to tackle this issue by introducing the Creators Program, which consists of 2 elements. The first part affects users like you and I, and it's Flightsim.to Premium. You can stay as you are and do your freeware downloads at no cost, with the advertising, limited but acceptable bandwidth, and the countdowns and so on. Or you can, for a monthly fee, opt for the premium service, which will give you ad-free and faster downloads. The choice is yours. This seems fair enough, providing they don't absolutely throttle the non-premium downloads. There were some initial concerns from creators that they're putting the freeware behind a paywall, but that appears not to be the case at all, and I think many of those fears have now been allayed. The second aspect of the Creators Program affects the creators' developers directly. I'm not aware of all the details pertaining to this, but in a nutshell it offers an alternative option for donations and allows the creators to share in some of the revenue, and the reward being based on the popularity of the particular freeware. Understandably, some of the developers are not very happy with this, taking the view overall that if they wanted revenue for their product, well, they would have placed it elsewhere. Their motivation for making the product available to the community, not based on any financial considerations. And of course, opinions on this aspect will vary developer to developer. This sent some developers scurrying towards the terms of service for Flightsim.to, and it's here where everything kicked off. And the subsequent dispute is focused on 2 areas. Initially, the above clause from their original terms of service. From what I can gather, this is fairly standard legalese, giving Flightsim.to the ability to distribute the product. In the interests of fairness, it needs to be stated that these terms of service were the original terms of service that creators signed up to. But the understandable concern related to the clause that allowed Flightsim.to to modify the user content. Flightsim.to have issued a statement clarifying that position, but as things stand today, it's a bit of a moot point, as the terms of service were subsequently updated. The ability to modify files has been removed, and it clearly states they do not claim intellectual property rights or copyrights. Having said all that, it appears that there is still a dispute between some developers and Flightsim.to. and that dispute centers mainly on the second point and relates to the ability or inability of the creator of the program to delete it and remove it from the Flightsim.to website. This understandably is cause for concern by the developers. Flightsim.to's position, as I understand it, as at the date of making this video, is that developers can archive, hide their downloads so they're not available in search, etc., but they can't be permanently deleted. But they have allowed up to the 5th of March for developers to delete their products if they so wish, prior to this policy becoming enforceable under the revised terms of service. And this only applies to freeware. Now, I'm aware a number of developers have already removed their product, and gotfriends themselves have removed all their products, and I'm assuming because of this deletion policy. Again, as a side note, gotfriends have issued a statement assuring users that they can still get updates for their products directly from them. Visit their website, link in the notes below for more details. Regardless of the reason, this is a very sad occasion for the Flightsim community. The reason for this, according to Flightsim.to, is that many of the mods and add-ons rely on other third-party freeware libraries available on Flightsim.to, so the removal of one add-on may well affect many others, rendering them unusable. The creator or developer's standpoint is fairly straightforward and understandable. They own it, it's their product, and they should retain the rights to delete the product from Flightsim.to should they so wish. And in a personal capacity, well, I find it hard to argue that point. And it would appear after some considerable toing and froing, Flightsim.to have now issued this. Heads up, they're planning to revise their deletion policy in response to creator feedback. This can be seen as a very positive move by Flightsim.to, and a quick look on their Discord revealed the following details. And for the sake of clarity, let me say that this is a proposal by Flightsim.to to the creators, and is not yet set in stone. And as a further point of clarity, as I understand it, this deletion policy has been in effect in the terms of service since day one, although I'm unaware whether it was ever enforced or not. And that brings you up to date as of the time of recording this. So are the developers or creators jumping the gun? Well, that's for you to determine. In my personal opinion, I believe the creators did have justification for cause for concern, and whilst these could easily be remedied and resolved, which is quite likely in the future, Flightsim.to seems to be very reactionary, scrabbling to recover ground, and could arguably have handled this considerably better. What are your views? Express your opinions in the comments below. Flightsim.to may not have shot themselves in the foot, but they've certainly bit the hand that feeds them. And I just hope, for the sake of the Flightsim community, Flightsim.to and the creators, an amicable resolution is found. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you found this useful and informative. Stay well, look after yourself, see you again soon, and bye for now.